Hi, my name is Tegan Carter. I teach at Capitol High School, and I teach AP World History, AP US Government, and AP Comparative Government. And I'm so excited that you're interested in this trip to Italy. It's going to be a wonderful trip. It's 11 days. We are going to be seeing all sorts of amazing sites in Italy over spring break of 2020. So let me talk to you a little bit about why I think travel is important. I know for some of you that are interested in this trip, it sounds like you as a family have traveled a decent amount, and so you value the aspect of traveling. I agree with you. I think traveling really makes you grow as a person, and it's so wonderful to be able to experience different cultures and different sights and sounds and smells of something that is kind of foreign to us. These are all pictures that I have from a recent trip that I took to Barcelona, which was pretty fabulous. When we go to Italy, one of the things that I think is so magical about this trip is that we have all seen pictures of the Sistine Chapel. We have seen the Colosseum in movies and in history books, but there is nothing like standing on the Colosseum floor, taking a minute to feel those walls that are thousands of years old and think about the fact that they flooded that Colosseum with water, and they used to have pirate ship battles and do all sorts of things. There's really something that you can't quite explain about traveling and how it changes you as a person for the better. The wonderful thing about EF2 is that it is educational, and that means that we're going to have local tour guides, local experts giving us the ins and outs of all the places that we visit, things that we couldn't get from tour guide books. And that's part of this whole experience, as well as meeting new people, traveling with students from other schools within the United States and making new friends. So let me talk to you a little bit about EF and why you should trust EF. So EF, if you're not familiar with it, it's Education First. They have over 50 years of experience, which I think is really important because that means that you can look at how people review EF, and it is overall very positive. I've traveled with EF recently to Barcelona, and it was an amazing experience. They took care of me every step of the way. It was super fun. I felt very safe, and I really had a wonderful experience. They always have a local bilingual tour director who's with us 24/7. So we will get someone who is from Italy, speaks the local language and English, is going to be very charismatic, very fun. They're going to be with us all the time as we travel from place to place, and they will become our new best friend. EF does a great job with hiring tour directors. They are just wonderful people. There will be chaperones on this as well, so there will definitely be some adults on site that will be taking care of and watching over your travelers too. There's 24-hour on-call service, so if you ever need to get a hold of your student who's traveling, you can do that, which is really makes you feel more comfortable as a parent. There's a global presence as well, so that means that EF doesn't just have a home base in the United States. They have on-site locations all throughout Europe. When I went to Barcelona, I got to tour one of these places. The people there were so amazing. They were so friendly. And they were there, number one, to take care of everyone who is there on a tour. So there's a global presence there within Italy where we will be, which means that they're on site, essentially. They're very close by, which is great if anything were to happen. There's travel wristbands and backpacks. I know this sounds kind of basic, but it made me feel better. So all of the travelers will have a wristband, and they will have the phone number for the tour director written in it. So if for some reason they take a wrong turn at lunch and they miss the street and they can't quite find their way back, they've got the tour director's phone number right there, and it's no problem to get in touch with him or her and to get back on track. There's also a peace of mind policy. And so this means that if something were to happen in Italy, if there were a hurricane or some sort of natural disaster and we couldn't fly in over spring break, they would guarantee us the exact same trip at a different time. So maybe it would be in the summertime or something like that. It rarely happens that this case comes up, but it is nice knowing that our trip that we pay for, we are going to get. The global travel protection plan is something that I do add into the overall cost because I think it's really important and it gives us some peace of mind. So this means that if you were to sign up for this tour this week and something were to happen 6 months from now, there's a family medical emergency, you could call EF and say we have a family medical emergency, and they would give you a full refund back. this makes you feel very good about this because I know it is a risk paying for something that is a full year out. Also, if you are when we're on our trip, en route, if there's flight delays, lost or damaged baggage, flight delay costs, that sort of stuff is covered with our global travel protection plan. Furthermore, if things happen on tour, which they shouldn't, but we always want to be planning for something, the what ifs. If someone were to get injured, this would cover you. You would go to the hospital, the insurance would be paid for, all the costs would be paid for, you would get back on tour, and everything would be good to go. So I do include, this is a fabulous protection coverage, and I do include this in the overall price. There's a couple of interesting features with EF as well. One is the Uncommon app. So I know that it's so competitive to get into colleges and get scholarships. You are really looking for ways that you can be set apart from someone else. And amazingly enough, travel is one of those ways. So EF has the Uncommon app, which is a great resource that you can use when you're writing your college essays to utilize this travel opportunity that your student will take during spring break, and to weave that into their overall narrative about who they are as a person and how they've changed over time. And that is really important. It is important to set people apart from other students, and this is one way you can do that. There's also a WeShare opportunity, which is an opportunity to get high school credit. I'm not going to spend the time to go over that right now. If you're interested in looking into that, please let me know and I can explain it to you further. Okay, so let me talk about our trip. So our trip is planned for spring break 2020, so that means it will take place over that week of spring break, but it is an 11-day tour. So that means that we will either have to leave a couple of days before spring break starts or come back a couple of days after, or some combination of the two. So that said, we have to be flexible on those dates. This is because EF gets the best price possible for us, so they can't have these dates set a year in advance. They need to wait a little bit longer until they see the group size and they can get the group discount, so they can keep our prices low. So this is one thing to consider, though, when you're thinking about the next year, because those days before or after spring break, or some combination of that, those will be absences that you will need to excuse for your traveler. And so you just need to be aware that there will be 3 or 4 days, give or take, that will have to be missed in the spring semester as well. So I will let you know about these dates after you sign up as soon as I know. So let me talk about the trip itself. I know what you're so excited to hear about. So we fly into Milan, we go into Venice. And all of these places we're going to see the most famous sites, which is really wonderful. And Venice, of course, we're going to be able to float along the canals. We're going to be able to see a glass blowing demonstration. That's what Venice is super famous for. Eat the local cuisine, see amazing museums, travel around with local tour guides, people that were born and raised in that area, speak the language, they know the ins and outs, all the secrets of the city. We'll get to spend time with them. Then we go to Florence and we have 2 nights there. That's where we see the David. That's where we get to eat amazing food, experience sights again. I'll pause for a second. The thing I love about EF is that it really is the perfect combination of structured travel and free time. So we want to see all the sites. We really want inside information from local tour guides, which we get. But I know some kids are like, I really kind of want to experience stuff on my own. And is this going to be so rigid? I have to be with a group the whole time. I think it's the perfect combination of both. You get some time by yourself around lunchtime. Lunches are on your own. You get to explore stuff. The tour guides will say, I suggest you go to A, B, or C. I suggest you eat at 1, 2, or 3 places. And we meet back here in 2 hours. And so we have a structured time that we have to meet back for safety reasons and to make sure everyone's together, and because we're going to go on to another amazing site. But you do have free time to explore it on your own and get to go to little boutiques and little shops and museums on your own. And so I think it really is the perfect combination of having some structure but also having some free time. The other thing that's nice about this trip is that you get a couple of nights in almost every stop that we make. So that means it's not just moving every single day, which is really great. So after Florence, then we go to Rome. Of course, in Rome, we're going to see the main sites. Colosseum, we'll go to Vatican City, see the Sistine Chapel, see St. Peter's Basilica, see the Roman Forum, all those sorts of things. Wonderful things about this, again, local tour guides, they give us information, tell us stories, give us history and background that you can't get from those tour guide books that you take with you, and if you were to do this on your own. These local tour guides, you guys, are so wonderful. They're so charismatic, they're so interesting, and they really, really tell the history well. The other cool thing is that we don't have to wait in line with everyone else to go see the Colosseum. We don't have to get up at 5 in the morning and wait for 2 hours to get in. We have a time to be there, and we get to be there, and we essentially get a backstage pass. And then when we're done seeing those things, then they say, okay, you've got a couple of hours for lunch, go relax, explore, have amazing food, and let's meet back here and go to our next destination. So it is just going to be an amazing trip. After Rome, this is the extension, and this is what I'm so excited about. So yes, we get to see all the main sites and then some. We are going to Pompeii. We get to see the ruins in Pompeii. Then we get to see the coastline of Capri. So we get to see some sites that are unique to Italy and that a lot of people don't get to see. So we have Pompeii and Capri added to our trip. Then we fly back to Rome and we go home. So let me talk about what's included in the price and what's not. So this is a really great deal. This is round-trip airfare, on-tour transportation, which are really nice, comfy buses. They're not school buses. They're nice luxury buses. Hotel rooms are very safe. They're also very nice. They're very clean. They're very comfortable. Travelers will be 3 to 4 per room. You have your own personal bathroom, which is really great. Again, we have a full-time bilingual tour director with us. Our itinerary is educational, which just means that we have people that know awesome history that will be with us along the way with our guided tours and our activities. So the itinerary is educational in that it's giving us background information. It's giving us the history itself. Breakfast is included. Is going to be full-on, authentic, wonderful Italian breakfasts and dinners. Every night an Italian dinner. And they're really good food. It's amazing, the food quality as well. If you have any sort of dietary restrictions, they take that into account too. There's 24-hour on-tour assistance, a traveler support team, which you will get when you sign up, a tour donation page, which means that once you sign up and you register, if you want grandma or grandpa to donate to this page for your traveler's birthday or for Christmas instead of gifts, they can do that. Global Travel Protection Plan, which I have insisted is included in this, and then WeShare, and that was that getting college credit opportunity. So this is amazing. You cannot do all of these things for the price that you're going to see in a second. Round-trip airfare, on-tour transportation, tour guide. This also includes all the costs that you pay to go to different events. So all the entrance fees, it includes that as well. What's not included are going to be free time activities, souvenirs, lunches, extra beverages. When you go to the airport, those costs of food and that sort of thing. There's also tipping, so we do tip our tour director, our local tour guides, and our bus driver. And so that ends up being $10 a day per traveler per day on the trip. So for this trip, it will probably be $90 to $100. That will be tip money I will collect, and then we will divvy out to those amazing people as we go along. So I just want to be really transparent about all of the costs that aren't included in the program price. So again, it's going to be extra, lunches, beverages, souvenirs, and then that tip money. So here is the overall cost. So again, it goes over everything that's included in that. This is, I know it's a decent chunk of change, but again, you couldn't get what we're getting for this tour for that price if you were trying to pay for every single thing individually, get round trip tickets. Then I want to have someone drive me from place to place and that sort of thing. You couldn't get that. There's also an adult price listed here too if adults are wanting to travel with their students. So I'm running out of time for this recording, but these are the overall costs, and this is how you reserve it. And so if you are interested in this trip, and I hope you are, these give you instructions on what you need to do. I'm also going to leave some additional instructions in the email itself. Thank you so much for listening to this. Please call me or email me anytime with any questions. Thank you.